What if I told you that every time a suitcase mysteriously disappears during air travel, it might not just be an accident, but part of a carefully hidden loophole that quietly benefits the airline industry in ways most travelers would never imagine? A loophole so deeply buried in fine print and obscure industry practices that it rarely ever comes to light, yet it affects millions of passengers every single year without them realizing how much they've actually lost, both financially and emotionally. Because while most of us think lost luggage is just the result of human error, a rushed baggage handler, a misplaced tag, or a computer glitch in the system, the truth may be far more unsettling, because the very structure of airline policies, insurance contracts, and unclaimed baggage markets creates a gray zone where airlines might actually stand to gain when your bag vanishes, turning a traveler's nightmare into a subtle source of revenue. And the deeper you dig, the more disturbing the picture becomes. Since the industry has developed a labyrinth of processes that quietly ensure passengers receive as little as possible in reimbursement, while airlines and their partners recover value through salvage operations, resales, and insurance settlements, which raises a chilling question. Are airlines financially incentivized to let certain bags slip through the cracks rather than fully investing in systems that would eliminate the problem altogether? Because if you look closely, the patterns start to feel less like random accidents and more like a recurring cycle that disproportionately benefits the very corporations that promise to protect your belongings. Imagine this. A traveler checks in with a suitcase containing a laptop, a new camera, expensive clothing, or even irreplaceable family items, believing that the airline's promise of safe delivery is backed by accountability. Yet when the bag fails to arrive, the passenger is pushed into a frustrating claims process where compensation is capped, limited by outdated regulations that don't even begin to match the true value of modern possessions. And while the traveler is stuck replacing essentials out of pocket, their missing belongings quietly enter a shadowy secondary economy, sometimes ending up at massive unclaimed baggage centers, sometimes sold in bulk to auction houses, and sometimes funneled into retail partnerships where items are resold for profit, creating a system where the passenger's loss transforms into someone else's gain. And what makes it worse is how little transparency exists, because airlines rarely disclose what really happens to these lost items once the official claim window closes. Now here's the part most travelers don't know. International aviation treaties, such as the Montreal Convention, set strict reimbursement limits that haven't been updated to reflect today's reality, meaning you could lose a $2,000 laptop but only receive a few $100s in compensation. And because these limits are standardized across most of the industry, airlines have no competitive pressure to raise them, which effectively shields them from meaningful financial loss whenever baggage disappears. And if we step back and think critically, it almost feels like a rigged game. Passengers believe the airline has every incentive to prevent baggage loss, but in reality, the structure of the system reduces the airline's liability so much that losing bags becomes less damaging to them than you'd assume, and in some cases, even beneficial. Consider how unclaimed baggage eventually enters resale pipelines. There's a whole hidden economy surrounding this, where companies specialize in purchasing unclaimed airline luggage in bulk, sifting through valuables, and then reselling them in retail stores, online marketplaces, or wholesale deals. And while passengers remain frustrated, wondering where their cherished items ended up, the industry continues profiting silently, rarely acknowledging how much value is being extracted from what was supposedly a service failure. Even more alarming is how insurance companies play into this system. Because while some travelers purchase travel insurance expecting coverage, the policies are filled with exclusions, depreciation clauses, and maximum caps that limit payouts. Yet those same insurance companies often recover value by collaborating with salvage buyers, meaning the entire cycle is built in a way where corporations and third-party businesses can extract profit at every step, while the individual traveler remains powerless, uninformed, and undercompensated, which begs the ultimate question. If passengers are losing money, airlines are protected by international treaties, insurance companies are hedging their payouts, and salvage buyers are profiting, then who is really motivated to fix the broken system? Now imagine the psychological toll. Families arriving on vacation without clothes or medicine. Business travelers missing crucial presentations because equipment is gone. Elderly passengers losing sentimental items that can never be replaced. And yet the narrative presented to the public is always the same. We're sorry for the inconvenience. We'll do our best to track your bag. While behind the scenes, the bag may already be moving through hidden channels that ensure the airline never truly suffers a financial hit. Some industry insiders have whispered that airlines actually save money by not investing heavily in baggage technology that could nearly eliminate losses, because the cost of advanced RFID tracking, staffing improvements, and tighter chain of custody controls might outweigh the limited liability they face under current laws, making it cheaper to let a certain percentage of bags go missing each year, rather than completely solving the problem. And that is perhaps the most unsettling part. Passengers assume mistakes happen rarely and accidentally, but in truth, the system is built to absorb those mistakes in a way that financially protects and sometimes benefits the airline. If we think about scale, the numbers become staggering. Tens of millions of bags are mishandled worldwide every year. And even if only a small fraction are never reunited with their owners, that still translates to massive volumes of goods flowing into the salvage and resale pipeline, creating a steady stream of inventory that fuels an entire hidden marketplace. And it raises the uncomfortable possibility that lost luggage has evolved from an unfortunate accident of air travel into a predictable and even exploitable element of the business model. So the next time you hear someone joke about their bag taking a different vacation than they did, remember that behind that humor lies a quiet reality where your suitcase may not just be lost, but redirected into a system that extracts value from your misfortune. And while the airline assures you they're doing everything possible to locate your belongings, the financial structures behind the scenes may suggest otherwise, because if true accountability existed, wouldn't we have already seen sweeping reforms, higher compensation limits, and advanced baggage tracking universally implemented across the industry? And here's the haunting thought. What if the reason baggage loss remains a persistent problem decade after decade isn't just incompetence or bad luck, but because solving it completely would close a loophole that quietly benefits too many powerful players, leaving travelers unknowingly trapped in a cycle that isn't meant to be broken? And that, perhaps, is the most unsettling truth of all. Your missing bag may be more valuable to the system when it never comes back to you.